Hello and welcome to my channel, Board Grandma Designs. My name is Leela and I'm from Northwest Florida. Today I thought what I'd do is show you a couple of things that I picked from my yard before I move on to jelly printing. These are weeds plus some of the little plants that I have growing in the back. And the fern, I use that in some of the jelly printing that I'm doing, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that today. They were ferns that I would have pulled up and thrown away regardless, but I thought since I got my new jelly plates, I can really play with the rest of you guys that do these type of things. And here it is. Instead of getting one, I ordered two from Michael's. But here they are, and I'm loving it. I decided what I do is make my own stencils, and I took my spellbinder cutter and I made my own, and here's some of them that I have made in the past before I got the jelly plates. And after using them, I thought, well, let me try to do a little better and make more. But unfortunately, I misplaced some of my die cuts. I put them somewhere and can't find them. So I used some of what I had, the smaller ones, and I kind of did this. And I mean, although it's not the greatest, but I thought I'd have a little fun with those. So toured the studio up looking for the other ones that I intended to use for this project. But here again are what I have bought from Hobby Lobby in the card section, some templates. I'll try to use some of those, but I'm trying to use what I've already got between the fern and the ones I made today. But I also went after I started working again after 5 years, and I bought these 3 paints at Hobby Lobby, and I got the black. This is something I want to do, mono printing with photos. I tried to do it in the past and couldn't do it. I wasn't very successful, but I'm going to try it anyway. But I've got this old paint of green since we're using the ferns, and the gold. I really love playing with the gold. And I've made quite a bit. That's the apple barrel from Walmart. It's inexpensive. But I played around with my jelly plates before putting it on the camera, and I'm very excited about showing you what I've learned. And this is the rare that I ordered also from Michael's, and I was hoping for a bigger one, but that's what it is. And I have trouble with rolling it for some reason. And this is what I was using before I bought the roller. I like to play with it, as you could see. But here they are. They're sticky, and they're really neat. If you saw my previous video, you saw that I was trying to use an alternative thing to make a jelly plate, but it wasn't actually a jelly plate. It was just a stamp that I used and flipped over. But I'm not really putting enough on here because in the past I put too much, so you gotta get the right amount. I can't either. It doesn't seem that I'm doing it the proper way, but I just didn't want it to get underneath the stencil, so I'm just carefully doing this. So I decided to go back to work, and I called an ex-employer, and knowing that the senior portraits for the following year is coming up. We do this, they do that in the summertime. I decided I'd give her a call and see if she'd let me go back and do that. And I just didn't realize how antisocial I'd become. I didn't even know how to talk to these people once I was back in the studio. So we started yesterday, and today was the second day, and we practiced on each other. It was fun. I think I really like this group of ladies. So far, it's only been day 2. I go again tomorrow, and we practice on each other. The first day, we practice senior portraits for the gentlemen, and so we dressed up in tuxedos and bow ties and practice on each other. And then today we practice as females and had the boa and this and that. So that was fun to do. And I think tomorrow what we're going to do is both the male and the female. And then we get to actually take photos of the actual seniors. I guess the following week. I'm not quite sure when they'll start scheduling. But I'm excited, nervous and excited all at the same time. I can't believe how long it took me to go back to the studio. It's been 4 or 5 years. It just kind of blows my mind. There's a couple of them that are still there from years ago. It's really nice to see them because they feel like family to me. Alright, so I pulled that off. And I like using both plates, get 2 different kind of effects. What I'm going to do is put regular copy paper down after I put some gold on top. Gonna roll that around. I hope that ring light reflection doesn't bother any of you. I do have some other lighting but they're rather bulky. Doing this, I'm having to work around tripods as it is. I'd love to see how other people have their setups, but my tripod kind of gets in the way. It's old and broken. My birthday's coming up, and I believe what I'm going to do, I get birthday money from my mommy still, and I'm going to take it and put it towards buying a new tripod so my camera doesn't fall. But right now I'm using my cell phone, which I don't have much memory, and I keep having to delete things. You kind of have to move along with these things, but I allowed this to kind of dry a little bit. I'm going to put the green down. I know these colors probably don't make sense to you, and I didn't really have a well thought out plan. I'm playing. I know I probably should use more paint than what I'm using here, but I think it's a sufficient amount. Well, I ran out of room on my camera on my phone, so I ended up pulling it without it being on camera, and my apologies. You hear my mother in the background texting me. She's asking about my job. She's wanting to know if I'm working every day this week. I'm not. So I thought I'd get my second template that I made and play with that. I'm going to blend both of them together and see what happens, but I really like playing with the white. So if you guys have never tried this, I think you should. Everybody should get them some Gelli plates, and they have all types of sizes. I want to go back and get some smaller ones. But this is sort of my art therapy. It's therapeutic, and what I'm going to do is use them in my art journaling. There, take that off. I'm going to stick it over here. This is the side where the tripod is, so it's a little tricky for me to do that. Pull that off. So that's not going to come up very well, but that's okay. I'm going to do layer upon layer. This is so much fun to me. Probably a boring thing to you, but to just watch it, but I'm going to take this and had some little tidbits on the plate from when I cleaned it before. I'm going to spread that out. Try to go from the inside out. Give it a good rub down and then start pulling it up. Ta-da! I'm going to have to rethink my little templates there, my stencils, the design of it, come up with something better. I'm going to start ordering some. I started the ordering process before I got my Gelli plates and just kind of put it on hold to see if this is actually something that I want to continue doing. I guess if I invest it in 2 plates, I do want to continue up. There it is. I think that one turned out really neat. I love all the layers. And it's not going to look so great on that other one, I can just about tell you already. It's not going to turn out like this one did. But let me grab another page here. I've got these papers drying all around me on the floor. Add a little bit more color because that kind of dried a little bit. And when you put the wet down, it's going to help pull it. That's what I've discovered. I had never heard of this until, you know, I come up on these couple of ladies and they look like they were having so much fun. They're so sweet and friendly. I've gone on about them in other videos, but that's what has inspired me, and there's like a whole bunch of people out there There's a whole lot of y'all out there doing this. My brayer just wants to make skid marks. It didn't want to roll that crate. Maybe I'm not bearing down enough. I've watched a lot of you guys doing this, and I know you just do one stroke up, but I don't know why I keep wanting to go up and down like I do. Breaking rules, I guess. Rule breaker. That's how people get arrested. Don't arrest me. So I'm reaching for something under my desk. It's an old folder I put my papers and fussy cuts and things like that in. I stored a bunch of papers in them last night. Greens and blues and reds. I want to get some yellow and orange. Haven't ventured out yet to get more. So I'd use some heart stencils on that one. There's this. I would like to show you all the things that I did, but you know, I honestly don't know when to stop when I start making these. It's like I go on and on and on. It's like an obsession. I cannot stop myself. It's like, oh, I've got to do the back of this one. Then I have to do the back of that one. See, I didn't think it was going to turn out that great. And it didn't, but that's okay. I'll put another layer over that. It's all going to be okay. It's all about having fun. Which your fun might be jet skiing or whatever, but mine's art. And I see a lot of you have that do this sort of thing. You have layers upon layers on your jelly plates, and I can't seem to get them. They're always back to being naked all over again. I can't get those layers. I guess maybe later on, but I put them away. I got a baby wipe, and I cleaned them all off and stored them so I could make my stencils. I needed the space, and I put them away thinking, oh, I'm just going to dedicate myself to making these things, but I couldn't find my die cuts like I said before, and I just made like 2 of them, and out came the jellies. I know, I'm overdoing it. Okay, now here are the ferns that I found. They actually feel like they're made out of like plastic. I had used them so much and has so much paint on them. I've got paint on both sides, but oops, that one slipped. But I'm just gonna lay them there, and then I'm going to put some copy paper on top of that. I'm giving that a little time to dry. I'm gonna put it on top and kind of smush down. Oh, so gently. Give it a nice massage there. Nice little rub down. I'm indecisive here. Didn't want to really lay flat. pat it on while it's still wet. And inside the design, I'm going to pull up some of that paint. Pull that up. And a little bit on top there, and I'm about done. Okay. Okay. And pull that up. Alright, let's see what we got under here. It's okay. Not real wild about it. But what I do like, after I pull that up, you see that gold underneath the fern? That's what I like. And that's what I'm really after. Ta-da! I'm going to use that, go over that and see how that turns out. Everything I'm doing here is experimental. This little rub down. I'm going to do a layer in that one. Put that down. Nice little massage. I think that should be about enough. No, a little bit more. Okay, let's see what we got. Please work out. Cross your fingers. Let's see. Kind of like it. It's not quite there. Alright, let's see what we have on this side. Okay. And I'll probably put another layer of something on that one. See, I told you guys. I've already done this, and here I am. I'm going to do it again. Kind of clean off the brayer there. And I just can go on and on with this. Keep thinking I want it to the side. Just not really wanting to lay flat on the plate. Okay. I usually don't do this. I've done it before and found that it was a big mistake, and I don't know why I feel compelled to do it again. It didn't work out the time before. But hopefully, because I didn't put as much paint down this time, that I'll get a better effect. I keep getting red specks in here, and I don't know why. I don't think I've even used red. I think when I get my first paycheck from the portrait studio, that I am going to go out and purchase, well, I'm not going to go out, I'm going to order them online, some stencils, and I know where I'm going to order them from. When I actually get them, I will let you know who and where I've gotten them, and then we'll play with those. But what I'm hoping to do with the blues and the greens and this and that is do like a under the sea type art journal or journal. But this journal I made for my daughter using the other little small templates, and I sewed these pages together. I'm going to give it to my daughter. I already told her that I'm sending it her way. She does bullet journaling. I didn't know that she did bullet journaling. I just see that she could, so I made that for her using the, well, they weren't really gel plates, but it was before I got these, and with the intention of making more books and journals. I want to make one for an herbal book, remedies and things like that I've tried, and put some recipes in and store my recipes in one of my handmade books. Now, those little blue designs kind of dried up, and I'm putting Mod Podge, and I'm probably making a mistake doing this on there because I just wanted, I wanted something translucent. I didn't want anything with color on it to cover up what I have on this page, and I should have showed you the page before I put it down. But I'm realizing that I made a mistake, but there's no turning back. I'm just going to go with it. You never know what you're going to get until you've already got it. And I'm going to try to iron it out. And what I should do is probably let that sit a while and kind of dry, but that means I would have to wait. And who has time for all that? This is a cobalt blue. I thought it was a very pretty blue. I want to do something special with it, but I don't know what yet. But I will figure that one out. That would be fun to play with the ferns in different colors. Yesterday I did them in red off color, and I thought that was really a neat effect. I've already stored it in my book, in my folder. I'll pull them up later and maybe show you what I come up with. Now, when I pull this up, you're going to see the ferns. Of course, it's going to be like a white blank, but it's going to iron down on the leaves, and it's going to stick to the paint. Just press it down with the brayer. And I don't mind that it has a color on it like that, because of course I'll go over that. And the papers, I thought to myself, what am I going to do with all this? But after a while, it's like, oh yeah, I can use this in collages. I can use it in books. My little junk journaling. So I'm pulling this up, and it didn't do what I had hoped, but I mean, it got a little bit of that blue up, but not the way I had hoped. And it's doing this strange wrinkle thing, so that's just going to have to dry, because it is very wet. So I'm going to try to pull up some more of that using this side, which is probably a mistake, but that's okay. We can still put layers upon layers. And let me pull this up. You see the blue? I probably should put it on this other one, but it'll be wet on both sides. I have grape vines growing in the trees next to the window outside of my studio. It's way up high. I'd like to get some of those leaves and play with those. The grapes, I would love to have the grapes, but the squirrels and the birds get to them before I ever do. If I got to them, I would make wine. I've done it before. I love making things out of what nature has to provide around me. There it is. Isn't that cool? I think that's so neat. I have some prickly pears growing in my yard, and I got it from the house that I used to live in, that I grew up in. And my dad had put some prickly pears outside a gate on a hill to prevent these boys from riding their bikes and jumping off the hill. He was afraid they were going to break their bones. But anyways, they moved, and of course boys grew, and we all grew and moved away. But as an adult, I went back, and the prickly pears were still there, so I grabbed a pad and threw it in my yard. Yeah, that one didn't quite work out. And I have discovered that everything about this prickly pear is good to eat and good for you. So the flowers, you can put their yellow blooms, you can put them in salads. The pads, you can clean off the stickies and you can cut them up and saute them, and they're like a string bean but with an okra kind of texture. But you can eat it that way. And also there's a fruit that will grow that's magenta, and you get the pricklies off of that, and you can cut them out, get the seeds out, save the seeds. You could grind the seeds and make a flour out of them, and then you can make a juice to drink out of the fruit. You can make these little cube candies out of them. You can make prickly pear syrup, which I've made, and jelly, which I've never made jelly before. It was the first time making jelly, and it was the hardest thing to make gel. But I did get a little bit of jelly, but most all of it turned to syrup, which is really good on pancakes. But it's really good for you. I enjoy drinking the juice. So I need to get busy on eating all that up and drinking all that. I've froze the juice. I had so much of it. And so many prickly pears in my fingers. Although I was pretty good at preventing the prickly pearness all over me. Okay, let's rub that down. I've got to do something with this side. I just want to be careful with it. And let's pull it up. And it didn't really do what I wanted. That blue is just not coming up. I just don't know if it did anything. Well, that's still a bit wet. So up in the right hand corner, you'll see little flowers with the yellow in the centers. Ben's alba is a weed. You can even eat those, put those in salad, and you can also I like the texture on that one. You can do a lot with that. But the leaves you can dry out and you can make a tea, and that's also good for you. Okay, here's what we have using the ferns. And some stencils. This is what we have so far. It's not finished. And this is the back. And this. I really like this, how this one turned out. I got that side to do. But for the sake of the length of the video, I'm going to shorten it. I do have to go back to work. But I will leave you with this, what we worked on. I've got 2 pages to do on the back. So that will be another day. And I'd like to thank you for watching and taking your time with me. Please like, comment, and share. Take care, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.